Assalamu alaikum. In today's video, we will create a database and connect with Visual Studio 2019 with a very simple example. In first step, we will create a database on SQL Server 2014. For this purpose, I create a database and my server name is laptop. You guys can see I will connect to my database. I created a database yesterday with the name MSNetDB. I expand its properties and in table I created a table name with employee name, and here are the table attributes: employee ID, employee name, and employee salary. I set the data type of employee ID as int. I am not accepting null. The number second attribute is employee name, and I set a data type to watcher 30. I am also not accepting nulls, and employee salary with data type money. I set the employee ID as a primary key, and also identity of auto increment. From its design, I specify its identity specification drop down. I check it to yes, and starting from 100 and the increment of 1. Yesterday, I also add some rows in it. If I show you, I am selecting top 100 rows, and you guys can see here is the result of my query. I deleted 101 ID data, so you guys cannot see this. So first step of our task is completed, that we create a database in SQL Server 2014. Now next step is to create a window form application. In order to connect C# with Visual SQL Server, I first created a window form application named as my demo project. In this form, I design a form interface as you guys can see here. I add 3 text boxes to enter email, employee ID, name, and salary, and the two buttons for opening connection and closing connection, and 3 buttons to insert, update, and delete. So first, the second step, we have to create a window application in the Visual Studio. This step is done. Now we have to create a connection between them. So in order to create a connection, first we have go to the our solution explorer. In references is add new references, add reference, and here I add settings.configuration check. Okay, in this step, after this step, in app config, if I open this, in app config, I add an connection string tag, and I add a connection string with name my ms demo connection string. Sir, here I add my server name, which I show you, that is laptop V83R6AN/SQL Express. Database name was MSNetDB, and I set trusted connection as true. So I also after this step, I created another C# class in which I uh, in which after this step, I created another C# application. So in which I make a getter, make a property, get property to return my connection string. From return, I will return system.configuration. I show you the in settings configuration connection string tag with a name. I specify the name of connection string tag and dot connection string. Okay. What is the purpose of this class? Because if in many times I want to make a connection with my SQL server database, so I just have to write only the class and its getter function, property function. So this is the beauty of this code. Another thing the alternative method I can use is Solution Explorer. I can go to I can go to properties, settings, and here I also can add my connection string, and I will get it get in my class with the name, like if I remove him here, then with the properties dot sorry dot settings dot default dot the name of the connection string which I will make, but I just make a class and set his getter method, so I am not doing this here again. So let's move to the design view. uh, in design view I add button for opening connection and closing connection. So if I double click, uh, here's the implementation back implementation of the opening connection button. I create a SQL Server connection my connection there to new SQL Server connection with a connection string. For using SQL connection, I import a library using system.data.sql client. In order to check my connection, if it connect or not, I add a try catch block. If any exception occurs, I get to know. So if I am trying to opening my connection, if my connection dot open, message box show connection established. Otherwise, if connection does not open, show me the error message, so I can identify without runtime breaking. So here I also add the closing connection button. I am checking here if my connection is closed, not closed, then I'm going to close it. If connection failed to close, then I will throw a message that failed to close the connection. Now let's come to the fourth part of our video, in which we will add, insert, update, delete, and data from the form. First, run this application and test whether the connection is established between our Windows C++ Windows Sharp form and SQL Server. Let's give it time to build. Now you see, if I press open connection button, it show me the message connection established. Or if I press the close connection, it shows the connection status connection closed. Okay. So let's close this, and I will show you how to insert, delete, and update data by using forms into an SQL Server database. Let's go to the design view. If I double click insert, I add my code in a try catch. If some error occurs, I will trace it. So I type the command SQL command and create an object as command and is equal to new SQL connection. I am also establishing a connection between my new SQL command and my database with a connection string my con. So after this step, I have to write a query. So if I in result it will just insert a data in my database. So I write command text is equals to string dot format. I use the string dot format because if I do not use it, I have to uh, concatenate my uh, uh, concatenate my string here. So this is the alternative way of using of concatenation if we write in a string format. I am satisfied there is two index 0 and 1 with the name dot text and salary dot text. Name dot text, uh, here you guys you see I am added two text box and I set its name to the name and this employee salary dot text box as salary. So I specify the name dot text and salary. Here I am not giving the ID because as we set it as identity, so it is auto incremented. Now uh, I'm writing another command in rows. In rows is equals to command dot execute non query. This function will returns a single value in form single value. This return a single value that how many rows are affected, but means how many changes have been made in our database. So I am showing that if message box, if my rows are inserted successfully, let's run this again. So I will first open the connection that I am not giving the ID. I am giving the name as Heather Shah with the employee salary 45,000. Now I will press the button insert. It show me the message that total rows inserted are 1. Okay, let's move toward SQL connection and run this query again. Now you guys you see that our new record with the name Heather Shah and the salary 45,000 has been added and ID of 104. Now let's go to the code of update. If I double click on the update button, the method is same. I create an SQL command with a new connection, establish the connection with my SQL command. Now I am converting the ID from the text box. I am getting the ID from the text box and and parsing into int, so I can find my ID. I replace the data with the corresponding ID. I writing the query command in the string dot format update employee table name. My table name was employee. Set employee name with the index 0 in which the name dot text I will specify employee dot salary 1 employee salary and where employee ID 2 with the ID update the record where I give you the ID. Okay, and if my update successfully done, then it show me the message that total rows updated are this. If it failed to update any if it failed to update any data, then it show me the error, or if the corresponding ID does not find in database. Before running this, I will also want to show you the code of delete query Same procedure, I create a command, connection, establish a connection. After the writing a query, delete employee, delete employee, delete all the records of employee where employee ID I will give with the index 0 and separated comma and the value of the ID which I want to delete. So rerun this application. I will open the connection. I will specify first, I will update the record with ID 102, name with Hamza Khalid, and with the salary of 1 lakh rupees. Okay, first I will update. It show me the message that total loss updated are 1. Okay, let's check again. Execute the query again. So guys, you see with the ID 102, Hamza Khalid is updated. So now I will delete a record. So I will only just give him the ID of the record. So I am deleting the record with ID 104. Delete. Total rows deleted are 1. Let's minimize it and execute the code. You guys will see that while pressing the delete button, ID 104 is deleted now. So close this, close this form. I hope you have see that my connections are successful. Now you see that first we create a database in SQL server, then we create a window form application Visual Studio, then we establish a connection between them, and we add a query for insert, update, and delete in a inform application. I hope you will enjoy my video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.